Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of the Bobby Bones Show.
We're so thrilled to have on multi-instrumentalist, drummer, composer, author, and founding member of the band The Police, Stewart Copeland. Stewart, thanks for coming on the show.
It is my pleasure. Great to be there kind of virtually in Nashville.
Yeah, and you'll be here in person in Nashville, March 24th, 25th, and 26th with the Nashville Symphony. I want to ask you, I watched the videos and I've seen some of the things that you've done across the country with this. Police Deranged. How did you come up with this whole concept to take your hit Police songs and do them with full orchestras?
Well, there's kind of two sides to it. One is the deranged part, which came about when I made a movie. You know, back in the day, I had a movie camera. It was the first bit of extra spending money I had. I got a little movie camera, shot everything that moved. And for most of the experience from from motels all the way through Shea Stadium, I had this camera permanently attached to my face. Anyhow, I made a movie. And to score the movie, I obviously police music, but it didn't quite match the scene. And as 20 years as a film composer, I'm very precious about that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So I cut the police music up to match what I needed. You know, The scene takes a left, but Roxanne doesn't take a left. So I had to. And so once I started that process, I got out the Police Masters, the multi-tracks, which the record company kindly sent me in modern digital format so I could mess with it. And I found live recordings as well, improvisations that we went into on live that were never on any of the records. Wow. Just incredible vocal inventions, bass and guitar stuff we came up with. And I incorporated those and created this music. I am partial to those guys. They're, the way Andy hits that guitar and Sting's melodic sensibilities, that bass, kind of works for me. So I just got kind of carried away. And after I'd had, by the way, about 2 or 3 songs into this, I went over to Sting's place in Malibu, pulled him out of his house into my car. Check this out. What do you think? And he like, what are you doing? But he actually said, okay, fine. Okay, sure, fine, run with it. So I did. Then I got selfish and didn't call Andy and, didn't. So for their point of view, what's Stewart doing over there messing with our tracks? I know how I would feel if Andy was over in his place messing with our. Okay, so they nixed the project for a release of any kind, but I could use it in the movie, which I thought was very gracious of them, actually, considering what a travesty my activities were. Anyhow, that's the deranged part. So they're police songs that have been reconstructed, not so much reimagined, because I'm using stuff that Andy and Sting came up with, and of course myself too. But okay, now the orchestra part. After the Police, I was a film composer, professional, flinty-eyed, hired gun. You want happy? I'll give you happy, music. The language of film involves orchestra. And so I had an involuntary education in how you use an orchestra and what the cool things are that an orchestra can do. And I grew up pretty much on Stravinsky, Ravel, Debussy, 20th century orchestral music. And so even when I was 16 with Jimi Hendrix in one ear, I've got Stravinsky in the other. I've always had this orchestral concept of music. So in film, enabled me to really learn how to make the orchestra rock. And over the years, I've really learned how to put the music on the page for the orchestra, and it's very engrossing. It's a really beautiful way to make music, is to conceive of it orchestrally and put it, in the brass section. What are brass really good at? What are the, all the different elements within the orchestra. It really is the most complex, versatile, powerful instrument in the palette. And in this show, my mission is to have those 50 guys rock the house. They can do that. I know that they can do what a rock band can do, give them the right songs, the right material, and the Nashville Symphony will burn down the house. Of this, I'm sure. Because the orchestra has so much going for it, has so much subtlety, it can bang and it can whisper, it can love, and it can punch. It's a fantastic instrument. And to play these songs, which I kind of like, I'm partial to these songs, it really is a working show. Whenever we play the show, it is really very popular.
Well, and I think it's so brilliant the way you've done this too, Stewart, because you're taking, with your incredible hit band, The Police, 3-member band that made more music than a lot of 5- and 6-piece bands. And then, as you said, you're taking yourself on drums.
A couple extra fingers, I think.
You've got yourself on drums, a guitarist, 3 vocalists, and then you've got the Nashville Symphony. And so it's just a huge increase of musicians, but also you're bringing the music of The Police to a broader audience.
Well, actually, the broader audience is not my mission. Part of it is that the power of these songs that people know is something you just cannot achieve with new material. Mm-hmm. Whether you're a Police fan or not, Roxanne was drilled into your head as you were going about your life. And so songs that people know have an emotional impact. That's what us performers live for, as an emotional impact. So those songs that are known really have more power than new ones. So it's not about expanding the audience for The Police. It's about the audience that is there, giving them something that will move them and light them up. One thing that I really that was an unexpected joy of this whole mission was the Deranged, the 3 soul sisters on the mic. Oh, I mean, I have suddenly become a fan of the Supremes, the Chiffons, the Shangri-Las, the Ronettes, the 3 women. In fact, okay, the 4 Tops too. But those vocal groups to take really great songs and to do beautiful things with them harmonically. A lot of them, Sting did a lot of overdubs in the studio, so we can do those on stage. But a lot of the places he went live, harmonize those and mess around with those, and the abbreviated, we fondly refer to them as the Dejettes. I am besotted with my Derangettes.
That is so incredible. And once again, like I said, you're going to be here March 24th, 25th, and 26th at the Nashville Symphony. While I've got you here, I've got to bring up too, there's a new double LP of Police Greatest Hits also coming out April 15th. And,
my goodness gracious.
Yeah. And so on double vinyl. And so that's a pretty big deal as well, Stewart.
Well, The Police continues to surprise all 3 of us. When we went, we just gave it up. We went our separate ways. Sting had a stellar career all on his own without those 2 other scumbag passengers. He did rather well. Andy with his photography, and we've all, we just forgot about The Police. Then 30 years later, somebody said, how about a reunion tour? Okay. And, it was Mondo. It blew all of our minds. None of us expected that there would be such a residue of goodwill for The Police. This record is coming out next week. It's already sold out. It's all, just on pre-orders. It already hit #1 in the Amazon charts. Wow. So, and we are humbled by it. We did. I've talked to Rolling Stones and I've talked to Beatles and other legendary artists, and they all share the feeling that none of us expected this music to last. We made it very quickly, to be consumed quickly like a sandwich and forgotten, and then until the next one, and we were in the business coming up with another one. Right? That's none of us ever, even the Beatles, never suspected that the music would last the way it has. And it is very humbling. We are blessed and thankful, very grateful.
And you guys have sold over 60 million albums worldwide as The Police. And
by the way,
obviously, and you're Rock and Roll Hall of Famer.
Yeah, okay. But that 60 million records, nobody knows how many records I sold. I mean, there's accounting, all of it. So, the record company picks a number out of somewhere, probably or more, or, give or take, But I'm always amused when I see those numbers. Yeah, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, check.
You can't deny 6 Grammys.
Yeah. In a couple of weeks, I'll find out if I get another Grammy. I'm nominated. Get this. I am nominated for a Grammy this year. Best New Age Album.
Wow.
If I could be so blessed as to win this award, I will be groundbreaking as the first rock drummer to get a New Age award. How about that?
That is, well, and watching you play drums, Stewart, and I can't play drums. It's like, it's just mesmerizing. Yes, it's mesmerizing, and I know that, you came up in a family that played and you started out very young. I've got to ask you, if you don't mind telling us, I heard rumor that you may be releasing an opera this summer.
Yes.
In your spare time.
During the pandemic, I wrote 2 operas and orchestrated the police material. Unfortunately, I understand how much pain there was out there in the world, but there are some few who just got the lucky hand and were able to do stuff. As a composer, you can work at home. And it was very productive. The first opera opened opened last year in Germany at the Deutsche National Theater, which is very fancy. It was about Nikola Tesla. It's called The Electric Saint, and that opened there. And the other one is opening this summer in Italy called The Witch's Seed. And this one's kind of more fun. It's a little bit more hybrid. The Nikola Tesla one, Electric Saint, is full on opera. I'm actually partial to that kind of singing, but you need to have drunk the Kool-Aid. Some people don't get it. I do. The Witch's Seed is more, it's still got some of that yodeling, but I persuaded Chrissy Hind to write me some songs for it. So she wrote me 5 songs, and also just talking to her, developing the plot, she had the craziest ideas. Oh my God. For one thing, it's supposed to be about, the witches, in the Alpine witch hunts, where any woman with power and substance would be targeted. They want her stuff, so they'll call her a witch. And that was commissioned to write this opera. The venue is this incredible venue and a choir, yada, yada, yada. I'll do it. So we have it actually is a little more complicated than that, but she came up with these ideas for the plot that are just mind-bending. You can't do that, or can you? And so I'm looking forward to that this summer. And we'll probably do a record of that as well.
I certainly hope so. You've got so many great things going, Stewart. Once again, with Police Deranged coming here to Nashville, touring the world with that. And then you've got the new album, double LP, out with the Police, greatest hits, No Small Feat. And then you've got your second opera coming out this summer in Italy.
Seventh.
Well, second new one. From last year.
Second new one.
7th.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
That's what an incredible body of work. And it's just so impressive what you've done, Stewart, with your music and with your skills, just expanding this and making great music everywhere.
Ah, shucks. Thank you so much for those kind words. We just do our best.
Well, we can't wait to see you here in Nashville. Stewart Copeland, thank you for coming on the Rock Interview.
Thank you for having me. See you soon.
Sponsored by the Big 98, Nashville's #1 for new country and the home of a Bobby Bones Show.